What's up, Foxy ladies? I just wanted to come on and share some quick hacks for motivation. This is a big topic that a lot of people ask me questions on because, of course, everybody wants to have that feeling, that drive, that spark, that energy, the vibrance for their health, their fitness, and especially the um, power to just dive into a workout, to get it done essentially. And I wanted to share some of my biggest, like, little hacks along my journey that I've discovered about myself in hopes that it might inspire some of you to kind of dive into that this new year. Um, we kind of don't know what the next year's gonna hold. Heck, we didn't even know what was coming when the ball dropped last year, right? So the biggest thing is to always be prepared for the unexpected, and part of that is just being ready for anything, being ready to take on anything that comes your way. And that doesn't come from just sitting around and not doing anything, not planning anything, not thinking about anything, or not even making disciplinary, intentional choices for the betterment of yourself, for your health, your fitness, everything. So I'm sitting here post workout because, of course, that's always where I get my juices flowing, is sometimes after a good momentum, a good walk, a good movement of my body, just in pace with something in my day-to-day life, whether it's a workout or just out and about doing things flow to me, and I love that. And I invite you guys to kind of have that self-awareness for yourself too, and kind of think like, if this feeling, this emotion, um, this desire is coming to me in the year 2021, or right now just before 2021, like, let that pull you into an intentional state of mind where you can essentially make that decision to be like, okay, it's time to get stuff done. It's time to start doing something that is more intentional, that is more routine based, that is more regimented for the results I want to experience in my life. And the result of the experiences you get out of life comes from a direct result of the state of being that you have, your whole self, your whole well-being. And me and my ladies know that that is absolutely a positive side effect of taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is not easy to do. That's why it's hard. Our bodies are just designed to survive, but we have to think outside the box and use our human skill set and our intuition, and also our knowledge that we gain from other people, and other things, and even our own experiences, learning from our mistakes, right? And applying those and implementing those. And the trick is actually following through, creating that follow through. I always remember my hockey coaches growing up. I used to play ice hockey on a co-ed team through middle school, through adult years, and the biggest thing to nailing my slap shot into the goal and getting around the goalie was my follow through. Because you can take as many shots as you want, but you might still miss if you're still not creating the follow through. Okay? Essentially, you're making the initial inertia to slap something into action, but if you're not turning your wrist over and doing those like little fine details, those variables that actually matter over a span of time, you're not going to get enough momentum and discipline to have sustainable motivation. Mind blowing. So how do we get that overturn of the wrist to create your follow through for your motivation? Because everybody knows that instant motivation you feel is actually just desire. It's not actually motivation. Motivation is something that you create a longevity out of, right? So it's something that you can rely upon in the depths of your life when everything is in chaos, such as 2020, year 2020, and potentially year 2021, let's be real, we can essentially use that in the depths of times where we can't control other things, outside sources, but we can control our internal sources. Our internal control is what matters the most. Because the reality is we all have shit going on. We all have things to do. We all have responsibilities and things that we have to take ownership over. But at the same time, we're in charge of ourselves too. We have to be somewhere on that priority list. And honestly, it should be number one. Number two is your spiritual and your other relationships. And number three is all of the things that kind of are a cherry on top that intertwine with your life, and take your time and your energy, and also your passions into one, and then you put that out into the world, right? And that's how you kind of live your life and you live your purpose, essentially. But the core is always you. And so the little things that really help your sustainable motivation, your discipline, that follow through, and the momentum to keep going even when you don't feel like it, this is what you can do. You need to dive deeper into what makes you feel good about exercise, what makes you feel good in general, like what puts you in a happy mood, and what kind of gets you excited about being healthy, being fit. I want you to write a list of these things down, like make a few T charts and maybe title it things that make me feel good about fitness, things that make me feel good about nutrition, and things that make me feel good about my well-being in general. Start jotting down like a brain dump list of these things. And these little things, because they're very individual to you, that's the key here. This is what we teach in our academy, our one-on-one coaching programs at iFox Fitness, is these things are your individual drives. Nobody else is going to benefit from this other than you, because they matter to you. So for me, you can kind of look around. I got like all this stuff going on in my Total Fox Den / gym office. That's what I call it, the Total Fox Den. And I've kind of created this den for myself. Growing up, I was very much somebody who thrives with refreshing things. And I've learned that about myself through the years. Just having something new and changing my environment every so often, just like moving furniture around, cleaning and organizing and getting rid of things that kind of like mentally and physically feel good to get rid of, uncluttering things, taking the time to just make things refreshed. Some people might relate that into like chakra or balance or like feng shui. But to me, it was just home decor. I love home decor stuff. I love organization. I don't know, there's just some part of me, this creative side of me, that I've really just owned progressively through my life. And I was just like really dove into that. And then I realized, like a few years into my fitness journey, I'm like, why am I not doing that for my home gym space? Why do I have like all of this different equipment that I've accumulated through the years? Because of course you don't have to buy it all at once, right? I've accumulated this equipment, or I've bought new equipment, and it's just like jumbled up in a corner. Like, that doesn't motivate me. That doesn't make me feel good about working out at home. That's why I like have to go to the gym, even though I spent money on this equipment accumulatively over the years. I'm like, well, with this COVID stuff going on, it definitely challenged me to think back to what makes me feel good and motivated to work out at home. And for me, going back to my roots, my core, what makes me feel good about doing something is feeling good in my environment. So my number one hack for you is feeling good in your environment? Do you feel good working out at home? And how can you make that better if you don't feel good working out at home? When I first started my fitness journey, I was nervous and timid and like, I don't know, just felt insecure about how I looked working out. So I would like hide my workouts from my husband because I just felt stupid. I felt silly, like just doing workouts at home. It was like whatever if my kids watch me because they were just babies. They didn't know what I'm doing. I'm just mama, right? Um, but like I would like plan my workouts like while my husband was at work and he was in the army then. And then sometimes he'd come home and I'd like stop working out and just, just act like I'm doing laundry. And I don't know why I did that because that was a gym, like a gym intimidation type of fear and a self-confidence thing that eventually got broken within the journey. So of course that is a hurdle for a lot of women too. That prevents a lot of people from working out in a gym where you could benefit from having equipment if you can't get equipment for your house. So if that's a limitation for you, again, make the shift, make the leap, and realize you have to change your environment and get out of your comfort zone to have the motivation, the drive, and reap the reward of you stepping out of your fear once and for all. So changing your environment, making your environment feel better, for me, that is using my five senses. I love scents, I love sights, and I love sounds. Um, and taste. I guess taste, you could technically use my smart sweets in here that I have stashed. Um, and sometimes I, have like the little snacks and stuff down here. That would be that. But mainly the three senses that I focus on in my gym environment: sights, sounds, and smells. And most recently, I've realized the sights and the smells impact me the most. So if I'm in my corner in my desk working, I have my Scentsy warmer on that I've gotten from one of my wonderful clients, and I always put in like a wax melt that makes me feel good, makes me feel motivated or relaxed or whatever the vibe is. Or even a Bath and Body Works candle. I love their candles because they have those like metal holder things, and it just looks pretty. It just makes, it's the feeling. It's that feeling that's individual to me, and you might relate to that too. But just having that, like setting the mood, because a lot of people think, oh, it's so weird to set the mood like for intimacy, or it's so weird to set the mood like in the house while I'm just doing stuff. Well, I got over that initial weird feeling of setting the mood a while ago, and I realized that it really brought more results to my home fitness, my home well-being, my mood, and just these fine details again create that overturn of your wrist to create the sustainable motivation that you can rely on every single time. Because if you can't bet on yourself, who's going to do the work for you? Nobody. So again, the lights in my office that I've created, I've got so many lights. I've got colored lights. I've got lights around my mirror that like go off to the sound of music. I have Google Home speakers in here that will play my motivation music or like my background ambiance music for when I do stretching, yoga, or just like work grind mode, fox mode, babe, type of music in the background that kind of just keeps me focused and zenned in. And I also have things I've added this year: a Himalayan salt lamp. I've added some crystal stuff. I've added like just like IFOX swag. I've added the American flag because America. And for the holidays, I have my own little Christmas tree with foxes on it. And you know what? It's all worth it. It's all worth it because it makes me feel good. And when I feel good and I'm taking care of myself more, and it's just easier for me to take care of myself, then I don't have to think about it so much. And I can just rely on that drive, that energy, that vibe that I feel off of feeling good And then I just ease into whatever I need to get done, whether it's work focus or workout focus. And then the lighting I have overhead for like posing practice, I can create shadows and things that, help me stay in the zone in my total fox mindset for stage. This is a technique that we teach our ladies too, is like creating, it's almost essentially creating an atmosphere where you are placing yourself in the best zone that mimics show day. So, it's almost like going to see race horses train, and like they make all these lights and sounds. Like, have you ever seen that movie, Racing Stripes? It's like a kids movie, but like they create this environment for um, the zebra and or horse, that mimics the lights, the sounds, the audio, the visual that you would feel and you would experience on show day. And of course, you can't quite do that all at home, for example, but you can kind of create that feeling, that exhilaration and the nerves, um, by just setting the mood, setting the lighting, setting the tone, setting the feeling, having meditation and visualizations going on, having just your suit placed, your heels placed, your jewelry placed in front of you, and looking at pictures of like your past shows or maybe your role models, and even just having some like really motivational speeches rolling in the background, or just really motivational music to you, that can really help set that edge that you need to have long-lasting motivation. And again, motivation comes from your momentum and your discipline. So, lights, sounds, and smells. This helps me as well with my morning and evening routines. So a lot of times I have my hue bulbs in my bedroom, the color changing bulbs that connect to like your Google or your Alexa devices. Highly suggest those because you can really tone down your room, set the mood for when it's time for you to wind down and go to sleep, turn off blue lights that can affect your natural sleep hormone cycle, to get into a calm state of mind, and get your nervous system on track for sleep. You can use apps and things like that to help you with your routine, but most importantly, the setting the mood, again, changing the environment of my room from these bright white lights overhead in my room to like soft, dull, calm, a color that I feel like just fits me today. Like, I'm not huge into seeing like color auras. Like, I don't even have that power. um, but I just kind of like pick a color like teal or magenta or blue or orange or just whatever I'm feeling, and it kind of just brings me down in that state of being, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference in my sleep. Then I'm able to do my journaling. I can put on some background ambiance music or like an audiobook or a podcast I want to listen to as I'm winding down for the evening. And sometimes I'll even have like electric candles on to just accentuate that, or sometimes I'll have a real candle like my Bath and Body Works candle and just kind of like sip on some tea or some decaf coffee, or like a glass of milk or something of that sort, and just kind of have my macro cap for the evening, and then I'm like, this was an amazing day. I feel great right now and I feel like I can go to sleep, versus being uptight and just be like, ugh, and like beating myself up at the end of the day. That already creates a disruption of your motivation for the next day. Because then when you wake up in the morning, or you're tossing and turning throughout the night because you're beating yourself up still from not getting things done, not having productivity, not having done your workouts, not having ate your meals, it creates a bad momentum of no motivation, of disrupted motivation. There is a lot of negativity and pessimism in your mindset. And so that is how, not finding these little hacks and these things that make you feel good can have a negative impact on your overall sustainable motivation. So these are the things that I do to help me really thrive in the times that I just need to focus and be tunnel vision in my zone. And a lot of the times it makes my workouts that much better. It makes my sleep that much better. It makes my routines that much better. It makes my mood that much better for my family. And just the overall enthusiasm I have, especially through the winter when we're already lacking so much sunlight time. As you guys know, you should be supplementing with vitamin D. There's so many people who are just deficient in vitamin D. This is something that you definitely should be doing. Perhaps even vitamin B12, B6, a complex in the wintertime, especially if you have a diagnosis of deficiencies, then you should be doing that too to help. So supplementation can definitely help with motivation, because if you're having an exterior source, an issue internally with your energy, if you are stimulating your energy all the time with caffeine, with energy drinks, with soda, with artificial things, you're not going to have an internal motivation from your body functions. So it's very integral for you to be fueling yourself with motivation too. It doesn't just come from a feeling or emotion or your environment. It also comes from what you are doing to the inside of your body by what you're inputting in, and then your output essentially comes from the input that you do. So I want you guys to think about what makes you feel good about working out, what makes you feel good about eating, what makes you feel good about your overall well-being. And these lists are going to be your little mini hacks. Maybe it's setting out your workout clothes first thing in the morning, or maybe the night before. Maybe even your work clothes, like maybe laying out your outfit just like kind of eliminates that stressor, that morning chaos of trying to pick what to wear or what you want to wear. Maybe that just gets you motivated about the next day, because feeling good about yourself can certainly come from clothing, attire, the comfort and the functionality of your clothing. That can help. I do that sometimes. I love fashion. I love clothing. I love athleisure. I love traditional work attire. So I always go up and down in what I want to wear. I have the benefit of working from home. So sometimes, hey, you can wear pajamas too. But the key is if you're somebody who gets demotivated from wearing pajamas all day, maybe don't wear pajamas all day. You have to find clothing in items that you would feel good right now in. It doesn't matter if you're not where you want to be in the size of your clothes or even the style of your clothes. You can develop that as you go, but the key is to find something right now that would make you feel good, that would fit good on you, and make you want to do things and be active, to get out there more and to not hide yourself. Because a lot of people tend to shy away from life and bench themselves, essentially, because they're afraid that they look bad or they don't like themselves. They tell mean things about themselves in the mirror: fat, ugly, you're a disgrace, or I'm not worthy. The list goes on. So absolutely, the way you feel can come from your clothing as well. And just remember, if you are a spiritual person, you can get a lot of motivation out of your Bible studies, or maybe you do like a daily read in the morning. if you go to church every Sunday, like really reflect on your spiritual side as well. Be connected with your higher power, whoever you follow and lead in that example from. Really reflect in that and see how that can impact your weekly motivation, because that can be a rejuvenation at the end of each week, or a daily practice as well. You create those rules for yourself. And so that can definitely be a wonderful addition to your routine. We've had lots of our ladies, have spiritual practices like that, really benefit from a daily morning read, or something that they like to listen to, like a sermon or just a motivational speech. There's like Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer, I think Myers. Yeah, like there's so much that you can dive into spiritually. You can even go to places and do things like Reiki massages. You can do like a chakra thing. You can do a smudging. There's so many amazing, wonderful things that you can either go to and learn to implement, or that you can just do a DIY and do it yourself at home, as long as you have, again, you develop that discipline with your momentum to then overturn and create the follow through. So anyways, I hope that this helped you guys in some shape or form today. This video is getting long, but this is just what I've been really feeling in my heart for this year, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it is so huge, so crucial going into the new year, setting your goals, having a vision, even though it can kind of feel foggy right now because we have no idea what's going to happen. We kind of hated this last year, or whatever your feelings might be. I just want you to know it's going to be okay, as long as you can have control within yourself and within your environment, and the things that actually make you feel good and add a benefit to your life. Okay, guys? Stay foxy.